Okay, there we go. We're recording. Go ahead, Catalina. Welcome.
Thank you. So as I was saying, I'm very happy to be able to present this because I think that there's a lot of bills this year that deserve our attention, not because all of them are good, but actually because many of them are bad this year. So we need to come up with ways of working together so that we cover, and probably not all, but at least the ones that could be an issue, a good issue and a bad issue. So for us to start, let's let's go to that website that I just put in the chat. And I'm going to share my screen if that's possible, Hillary.
Are you able
Yes.
to do it? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So let me bring this over. That's the website that I just put on the chat. It's the Florida House of Representatives. And then you would go to bills. In the past, they used to have only the bills for the House. So you would have to go to the Senate and then pull the bills from the Senate, but at least it's getting better, right? So now the way that you're going to recognize them is that a House bill, it's always going to be 1, 3, the nons, and the pairs are Senate bills. So for example, if I see 002, then that would be immediately a Senate bill. So once you're looking at these bills over here, you see the infamous HB1 that we're going to talk a little bit about today, since we're going to have some time. Um, and then you're going to start scrolling. You're going to find a ton of bills. Look at this, and they're still adding because session literally has not started. So right now we're close to 3,000 bills just for this session. So so that is a lot, right? So the ways that we do that is that first we do like a sifting, and this is what I did. I just went through the names, through the people that I know are good and bad actors, so that I started identifying that. Let's use House Bill number 1 as the example, right? So over here, you're seeing that I have removed the track, but if I was not tracking that bill, it would look like that, right? Track that bill. Okay. Once you're trying to do that for the first time, it's going to ask you to sign in or to create an account. Where do you do that? Here. Okay. So I'm going to sign out here. Okay.
Okay.
It's not letting me. Okay, but you're going to have over here the tracking. You click over there and it's going to ask you, if you already have an account with them, you're going to just log in normally as if you would with your email. If you haven't done an account, if you haven't created one, then you're going to have the option. And it used to be more of a complicated thing. Now it's basically your name, your email address, and then it's going to ask you for password, and then it's going to send a confirmation to your email. So you're going to have to activate it. Once you have that, then you're already logged in. Okay. So now that I'm logged in, where the bills, I went to my bills, right? I go to tracking, internet. And it's not the internet. That's also, you're going to start thinking that it's the internet at your house is the page. It's always pretty slow. It works best during the day. So now that I'm here, I'm going to click on track bill 1. If you see the name of the bill and you're not sure if that bill needs to be followed, you know the name's not telling you too much, you're going to click on that. And then you're going to have a short description of the bill. So most of you might know that HB1 is basically the anti-protest bill that was put together by Governor DeSantis and was introduced by this nasty guy that is called Fernandez Barking, that is from Miami. And right, so the bill, it says that it's going to be protecting us from rioters and all of that, and it's basically, it makes you think that it might be a good bill, but the majority of these descriptions are enough that you're going to have a good idea of what's going on. In this case, we know that this bill is not what they're telling us, so we can do a few things. So once we are scrolling over here, it's going to tell you if it passes, when is it going to start being effective. So this is actually very soon. You see that session ends on May, and they're planning on implementing it in July. So that's already very, very early. And the reason, you know, DeSantis is already thinking that the summer is going to be a time for protests, and he wants to prevent those as much as possible. Right, so you can scroll over here. It's going to give you some dates and some things that have happened already. So for example, it was already in the Criminal Justice and Public Safety Committee. That one, it passed, right? There was a lot of comment. There were about 200 letters that were sent in opposition. There were about 70 speakers in opposition, and the bill still passed that committee. So you can get an idea of what's coming, but that's how much you can assess from this. You want to see what happened that day, you can click on see votes, and then it's going to tell you who voted for it. You see Republicans, right? And you're going to find over there against our guys, right? So the Democrats voted against. Okay, let's go to the previous page. What is the bill about? So you're going to find here, and in many bills, it's only going to say original filed version. Many of them are not getting a lot of modifications. It's actually those that are a little bit more controversial, where you're going to have a set of modifications. These modifications are the amendments. So this one you're seeing over here, one little amendment, but it's really irrelevant. The bill is basically the same original bill over here. And obviously we're not going to be reading the 60 pages that this bill is, but that's where you would find the official text for that bill. Then over there, you're also going to find, oh, sorry, what did I do? You're also going to be able to find your, where was I, sorry. So your related bill, and the related bill would be the one that is in the Senate. So House Bill 1 is the House version, and then you're going to click over here, and that's what I was saying. They made it a little bit easier, so you don't have to be clicking and jumping from page to page. It's already giving you over there the Senate bill, and that's 484.
Carolina,
yeah.
Sunena has a hand raised. Stack. Are you okay to take questions?
Yes, I cannot see the chat, so
okay, yeah. I'll keep an eye. Okay, go ahead, Sunena.
Thank you. My question was, if you're looking at one of the amendments, do they make it very obvious what was changed and where in the document?
So let me go back because they haven't met. You see here in the Senate bill, they have not met at all. There's nothing added to the referrals. There's no dates or anything yet listed yet. So we can know that there's no changes yet in the Senate side. So let's go back to the House bill, right? So there's one amendment here. And let's give it 1 minute so that it opens. Okay. So when they do changes, right, they're going to be underlined like that. And when text is removed, it's going to be strike through. So that's how you would know what the change is. But that change was very, very minimal and, you know, pretty irrelevant. But that's, in some cases, some bills have 12 amendments and many of them are super big to the point that it completely changes the bill, and that can be used for us or it can be used against us. That they can modify so much the bill that you may be thinking, oh, you know, bill 39, that one is not a problem. And because we're not following, and that's the importance of following as many bills as we can, we might be feeling that it is not important, so we're not following, and they add something that is completely different than the title of the bill, and it passes and you didn't know. So yeah, they can be pretty sneaky like that. When a bill gets a new date, since you're tracking it, you're going to get a notification. And once you see the notification, you're going to see that date added to the next committee that it's going. So let me go back to that because I didn't show it to you. We're going back to that House Bill 1. You see, it has only been in one committee right here. Can you see my cursor, by the way? Okay, so it has only been.
Did you want me to unmute, Hillary?
I'm sorry?
What?
Did you want me to unmute?
No.
Okay, it said host wants you to unmute.
Oh, no.
I'll mute back.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, next bill is going to be Justice Appropriation Subcommittee. That has not been a date that has been set yet, so it's not even showing over here. So you're going to get that. And one good thing, the ideal would be that we are capable of going to Tallahassee, right? But when you're getting those notifications, many times it gives you the chance of adding it to your calendar and requesting to attend. Obviously, you know, for us, it's not as easy, and we're, you know, Tallahassee is super far from us, but ideally, and if you have people in Tallahassee, you know, we could ask people to attend to those that are really, really important. And yeah, so the Not Me As people have people that have attended to these meetings. Okay. So that's how you would mark those bills, right? Obviously, that scrolling and all of that, it's going to take you to a lot of bills that are relevant. And I just did a very simple scrolling. I have not read all of the bills. Obviously, it's pretty much impossible. And I have 100 and something bills. I think that it's close to 200 bills that I'm tracking. How do I know which ones I'm tracking? I go to tracking. Internet. Okay. And then in tracking, I'm going to get all of the bills, right? All of the ones that I'm following. You see there's a bunch of them, and it's going to have them organized with their name, and it's going to show who submitted the bill, right? And it's also going to give you one last thing that I think it's pretty important, the last event. So if you are not sure, if you got, for example, last Monday, there were close to 17 or 19 trackers that came that day, just based on what I selected. So if you're not sure that maybe something you did not go back and read, um, you could make sure that you didn't miss it by this, because you would compare it with what you're exporting in the list. So that's basically the process of tracking, right? So let's do another one, another bill that I know it's pretty intense. Let me see. Okay.
How about
This one is
95?
95?
The one that's talking about popular vote.
195. Okay, I'll do that one after this one. Hold on one second. Look at this. 72. It says civil liability for damages related to COVID. Right. So you might be thinking, yeah, so that is something related to, I don't know, the cleaning supply, or I don't know. It sounds pretty simple. But then when you go look at that bill has another piece of information. I don't know if you guys are aware of a lawsuit that was filed by a family that is suing Publix, and the reason that they're suing is that the father of from that family died of COVID, not that early in the pandemic, and that was when Publix was prohibiting workers from using masks because they thought that would scare customers. And this is after March, after that time where most of us started working from home, and so that is one of the reasons. That there's tons of stories. Also, the Fight for 15 has also some stories about this. With fast food chains that were also prohibiting people from using PPE, and also once it was mandated that everybody should have a mask, they didn't provide that to their workers, and they were getting hairnets or the filters for the coffee machine to use as face masks. And there's also some pretty sad stories that you can imagine, right? So that bill is pretty bad, and so you're going to see over here that it already went yesterday. I know. Yes, yesterday, or no, the day before yesterday, was placed on the agenda for commerce and tourism, and that it already passed the judiciary committee. And again, you would find here the bill itself, and then the amendments. Anytime that you see them in red over there, those are the amendments. And we have to be very picky with the amendments. I'm not saying in all of the bills, but if you're seeing too many amendments, or if the bill is one that you think that is very bad, then it's worth looking at all of the amendments. Okay, let's go to Chad's bill, 150.
What?
That's the 150. That's the one that you wanted to see, right?
I was actually asking about the one that's talking about the popular vote for the president. I think it was 95, but I'm not sure.
95. Would it be that one?
Can you go down a little bit?
Okay, hold on. because I know. The internet is very slow, so I cannot.
So Carolina, the other thing that you might show, because Chad was specifically looking for, was it the popular vote? Do you
Yeah,
want
for
to show
president.
how you can do a search
Yeah,
for a subject?
so you can go
There you
back
go.
to bills. And then you can write over here, popular vote. We need a little music there.
Yeah, right.
Okay, let's see, which one's done? Agreement among the states to elect the president by national popular vote, right?
Yeah, that's it, I think. Yeah, among the states.
Yes, that search function is really good, because there are times when I'm like, I want to search for bills about guns.
Yeah. So you would find, again, that's like the synopsis. That's usually the opening of the bill itself. So if I clicked over here to look at the original version of the bill, that very beginning, the summary, is that first paragraph, and that's what they copy and paste in the description of the bill.
Ah,
So many of them are just like that, a copy paste, which is good. But for example, in HB1 is different. And I'm guessing that they did it like that because they know that it's a very controversial bill, and they didn't want to give too much information there. Okay. So there's other ways of searching. Since we're talking about searching, this is a very useful thing. So let's say that you're interested on everything that Ana Escamani is doing, right? As we should, I think. Right, so you would, did you see that? So I go to sponsor, and then I scroll to find Ana Escamani, and then search. Right, and she has a few bills that are really important and very, very useful. So one is the reemployment assistance, right? She has a few others that are COVID related. I'm forgetting which one. Oh, here. Okay, so restoring Central Florida's urban wetlands through post-COVID creation. So there's a few bills that she submitted that are really, really good, and some that have nothing to do with COVID that she had prepared since before the pandemic that are really good bills that we're tracking. But you see here, I'm finding also some that I might not have read already because these are newly introduced, right? So it's always also good to work with a team so that somebody can keep an eye on the bills that are appearing, the ones that are new. There's some that are going to be deleted. There's some bills that are kind of an overlap in the House. So there are bills that are not going to pass together, right? So one of them is going to be moved, especially if they come from the same party. It's weird, but there's a few that are kind of the same thing.
Okay, Lori Garcia is on Stack. Or
Yes, Lori.
Hey there. So I don't know if you know the answer to this or if maybe somebody else, I was just typing into chat. Do we know on average how many bills actually make it out? So if it's a couple thousand, how many actually on average clear all the hoops and loops to get passed into law? per session? Do you know?
I don't know the average, but I did ask a similar question.
Okay.
And the answer that I got was that in theory, all of them can pass.
True. Okay, and then the other question that I have is I'm looking back at HB1. I'm
Mhm.
seeing the view meeting appearances. Okay, I'm assuming these are people that have made it to Tallahassee, gone into that subcommittee,
Uh-huh.
and this is their contact information.
Yeah.
What is
And
the
you can see
difference
the
between?
application.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So what is the difference between view meeting appearances and the action packets, which shows kind of another list? Is it the same list or is this people that have submitted? I'm confused
The
about.
action packet has also the manual count for the votes. Sometimes they do it manually, and you're going to find there the
I see
material.
that, but below that is the appearance records. So is
me go back.
this in addition to, or is it the same group being duplicated?
It can be duplicated, but I would suggest just click on those. Many of those times you're going to find that it's the same thing.
So I guess my question is for
Yeah.
the people that cannot make it, there is no other way to get in under the action packets. There's no other way to make your comments or your opinion made. Is that correct?
The only other option of getting your information there is contacting the members of the committee.
And that does not go into any type of public record, right?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Unless they submit it, they are not obligated to submit those.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. You know, if I was, for example, that person that's sitting in that committee, and I know that they're doing what they did here, right? That all of the citizens are basically contacting because they are opposing the bill, and I'm also opposing the bill, right? But I know that it's going to pass. I want to create precedent, so then I would submit all of the emails. I would even print them and hand copies, physical copies as well, to keep them in record, because then that becomes official. But if the member of the committee doesn't want to, they can just skip that step.
Because if you look at who has chimed in on this, it's really on official record, at least here.
Mm-hmm.
It appears that it's only the people that have made it to Tallahassee. And I'm concerned about a lot of voices, even though we take great efforts to call the committees and all of that, there seems to be no public record keeping of those opinions. And furthermore, I would submit that there's some possibility of bias when you look at the action packets with regards to the name of the organization that you're with or all of that. There could be some bias.
Let's go back to that.
From some of our legislators. If you scroll down, if you scroll like way down, you will see some of the folks, keep going. You will see some of the folks that are making this. So if you're not a registered lobbyist, and let's say you're with an organization, I'm concerned about, he's in support. But if you scroll down, you will see that there could be a potential for bias.
This is the end of that document, but look at this. So these are the names of the people that spoke. They ask you if you're a registered lobbyist, for example, right? Let me scroll. This is not the one. So you see, some of them, you have to click on the various packages that they created, because some of them are just a couple of things. Many times they are the same thing. Here, look. So that's the manual vote right there for that committee.
Which to this body, I would point out that your vice chair did not make that meeting, if you're following this.
Yeah. Oh, Greco? No, he was actually there. Let me correct
No,
that.
on the following meeting that it made it out
Oh,
of committee, your vice chair did not vote.
Yeah, that's Senator Farmer. Was that
No,
him?
no, it was a Republican. If you click on the January 27th, the last one,
Okay.
it shows that he did the committee, the vice chair didn't vote. Brannon.
Okay. I wanted to show you also, guys. So they do the manual, they do the electronic also. You know, sometimes it's just like paperwork, but then they also include all of the contact information for everybody that spoke, and even their application to speak is going to be scanned at the end as well. So for example, there, right? So basically what I'm telling you is that, so if you're appearing over there, you also have to be mindful that they are going to know who's contacting, right? And that has a risk. Okay. Let me show you one more bill, and we're going to use it as an exercise, let's say. I know that you guys were speaking about a response to this bill that was very creative, and I was very inspired by what you guys proposed. So this is the bill that I'm talking about. That's 150. See, I thought that I was not going to be using the whole hour. Oops. I was like, no, Hillary, I can do that in 10 minutes. Okay, 150, let's do this. So they call it individual liberty and democracy, right? So it sounds nice. Click on that. These people. So look at that. Denouncing democratic socialism in favor of a true American values, right? Because
What?
yeah. So so this bill basically is a way of saying that they are only attacking socialism, but you know that is basically accepting some things that are going to be an attack for the whole party, right? It was already bad when it's attacking socialism because, you know, many of us, but also everything that we propose that sounds like it's, you know, the government providing for its people or taking care of its people, it's going to be accusing that of socialism, and this bill could be used for that. And it went through a meeting already, that you see the votes over there to accept it for 4 votes and then 2 nays. So it already passed the first committee. It's supposed to be scheduled soon for the judiciary and then the rules. And then once it passes this, you might be asking, so what's next? This is a House bill, then it would go to Senate. I'm not very familiar with some of the names that are like that combined, but that's the basic thing. So let's look at the bill that is associated with this. Basically an identical bill.
Okay. Cameron's asking how to find the vote record of committee votes.
Yeah. That's here. So let me. Internet. Okay. It's this web page from them. I don't know if it's set up so that it only works fast during the day or what. Okay, let's try it like this. Basically, what you're doing is that you would click on the committee. It's going to have, let's go use the bill one since we know that it's already, that everything has been uploaded. Sometimes also it takes a couple of days for everything to be scanned and added. But they're going to give you, like in the one that we were just seeing, they give you the totals of the votes, and then they take a couple of days to add everything else. So here, and then you would see votes, Cameron. Yeah. Okay.
Do you guys agree that we actually do have socialism for the rich, and that the lower half of the economic population deals with capitalism?
Mhm.
Of course, subsidies.
Definitely.
So they're saying get rid of socialism, but if we did and they got rid of the rich socialism, how would they react to that?
And also, how would they react to getting rid of the fire department, the roads, the libraries?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're super hypocritical, right? So you saw, for example, Senator Cruz, right? He's always been like, no handouts, no nothing, and then he's asking for money because of the little storm, right? It's not very little, but yeah, you get the idea, right? So what I wanted to propose before my time closes is I have selected here all of the bills that I think so far are the ones that at least are worth our time. There are many bills. You can see that. Right? It's already 221. And I just saw a few others, Bayana, that I think I need to go back and select. But so this is the chart as it's looking right now. So what I wanted to propose is that we work on these together. Like, for example, instead of dividing, you do 10 and I do 10, why don't we divide by category? And the reason for that is that there, like I was saying, there's bills that are overlapping or related to a topic. For example, HB1 is paired with a House Bill 197, which is modifying some of the status of police forces so that they become basically a protected class. You cannot do anything to a policeman, even making them feel threatened. That would be a crime. Yeah. So what I'm doing is that I'm classifying those bills, and I'm going to finish the classification because I had started, but then the bills, some of them even changed numbers. And so this is the new version. I'm going to have added all of the categories by the end of the night. And what I want us to do together is with the trackers. It can be just the trackers for the ones that you're following, like I showed you. So you go to the page, you sign in or create your account, and then you're going to go back to bills, and you're going to click on track this bill, track this bill, track this bill on the ones that you are being assigned. That way you're not getting too many notifications. So for example, something happened today for House Bill 1, and I want to add it here. Okay, it passed so-and-so committee. It had an amendment, and the amendment is basically this. So something like super simple, but you're doing it only for the bills that you're tracking. And this is also a good way of searching so that we know if we're in favor or opposed, right? So
Carolina, could you show us what the notification looks like
yes.
when you, or if you have options how to get notifications.
Uh, okay, so you're going to get an email like this. Can you see this?
No, you have to switch whatever the screen that you're sharing, I think.
Okay.
So we're still seeing the House of Representatives.
How do you see that?
So if you go back to share screen, it'll give you options of what window to share.
Can you see
There we
my
go.
email now?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to get a notification. Look at this. So I have gotten already 20 emails that are like this for today, right? So I click on that. And that obviously is what I want to prevent, so that you're not getting the 20 notifications, but instead you would get, you know, like 3, 4, 5 notifications just for the bills that you're tracking. Let's say, for example, let's go to the last one here. So it was House Bill 233, intellectual freedom in post-secondary. Oh, this one's a bill that's awful. So basically this bill makes it so that the material that you use as a college or university professor, that because we're teaching in these platforms that are owned by the institution, and you're uploading all of that material, you don't own that material anymore. Basically, if this bill passes, it's going to make it so that all of your material could be used by the college, even without you. You know, they could fire you, and then instead of having you teach 2 classes, they can organize 2 video sessions or whatever without a teacher, and have that spread in 10 different classes, and they're not paying you for that.
Wow.
Right. So it's a very bad bill. That's the reason that I'm tracking it. And you know, so I shared it with all of the professors that I know, because this is pretty bad. But that's how it looks. And you see, you might be thinking, oh, that title, it's not ringing any bell. So you can click over there and you could add it to your calendar if you're thinking on attending or you want to watch it, because there's another thing. You can watch these bills in the Florida channel. You can, the session, you can sit through the whole session, or you can click here for additional information. So let me click on additional information. It's going to take you to the bill, right? So for you to watch a session, I'm going to send this to Hillary. It's basically a link to the Florida channel, and you can watch the session if you wanted to attend to one of those, but you know, you can watch it from here. Or there's also the app for your phones. It's called Florida Channel, and it uploads the images live. So you could watch the whole session live from your phone as well. So here we go. Who wants to help? I would really want to leave today, you know, knowing that there's a few more people that want to join on this. So I already took on public safety, and I'm going to be doing education. And there's one guy that it's going to be doing infrastructure and climate. Those are the only 4 areas that are covered.
Okay,
So
Suki said in the chat that she's willing to give it a try.
hi, great, Suki, thank you so much. So
Yeah, no problem.
So I'm going to share that document. And I also wanted to invite you guys, there is a page on Facebook. I stopped sharing. So there's a page on Facebook. If you search for that, it's called Democratic Legislative Priorities. And we manage that page, and Hillary is also in there. So if you
Yes,
can
and
share
it's
it.
also, I've also put the link to it in today's agenda.
Thank you so much.
And Cameron wants
So-
to know, are we looking for people to help update the spreadsheet? And
So
are
you
we
will be
dividing it?
updating the spreadsheet just for the bills that you're tracking. And I am going to keep the tracker set for everything that we are tracking as a group. And we can work like that together, but I really don't want to overwork anybody. So I wanted to divide it like that in sections. That way you might end up following just like 10 bills or something like that, or 15 bills, and things don't happen all at the same time. So you're not going to get overwhelmed. But following more than 200 bills, I am kind of getting overwhelmed. I really need you.
Definitely understandable.
Yeah.
So, okay, so what are the categories, or how did you want?
Okay. Let me go, because I put them on our group Facebook. Okay, so again, the group is called Legislative Priorities. And you're going to find a post over there. Let me share the screen again. Okay, so that's the page. Can you guys see? Then you're going to have a post that says this: our lists are growing, right? When you look at that one, it's going to give you the options. And what I wanted is for us to like the one that we want to take on. You see that? So healthcare, I'm going to be doing, and public safety, because I already started reading a lot about the HB1. So I selected that one. Even the name of that bill. But there's another one that it's COVID-19, and there's going to be a lot of bills that are in that category, you know, directly or indirectly connected to COVID. So that's another category, and I'm kind of thinking of giving it up if you guys are interested on that one. So Scott is going to be taking infrastructure and climate that he has
Okay.
not.
Carolina, Suki has to leave the call.
Yeah.
If we can maybe put in how she could best contact you, or what
Okay.
what the
Sounds
best
good.
next step is.
Yeah.
You put that in the chat.
Of course. Thank you so much. And that's actually basically my presentation. If anybody has any questions, please just let me know or contact me.
Okay, Cameron said he'll take on 10 bills or a small category.
Okay, I'll send it to you then, Cameron.
And Ted, I see that you're on. Good to see you. Now, Ted, are you in that group of the legislative priorities?
No, you talking about the Facebook group?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just got on. I was.
Okay, no.
We had our zone one, you know.
Yeah. Well, you think you know all the like legislative tracking stuff, but Carolina is trying to work a spreadsheet where different people will kind of keep add in for different for a category to help with a spreadsheet.
And that spreadsheet is a Google Sheet. So all of us are going to have access to that. It's not like you're sending it to me and then I upload it. It's
Mhm.
actually, you're going to be able to do it yourselves. And all of us are going to be editors, which is already, it's a level of trust that I think that I can have with all of you here in this room.
Okay. Catherine is asking how we're to update. Can you show the spreadsheet again?
Yeah, hold on one second. Not that one. Not that one either.
No, that's where I get it. Like, who am I? Where?
Here, okay. So I haven't made it shareable yet
Okay.
in the sheets because I want to add the category to those. I wanted also to kind of color code the category so that it's easier for all of us to work on that.
And Lori's unstacked.
I just have
Okay.
a question about like some of the bills, like HB1. We know
Uh-huh.
that's a big issue. Do you think that it would be strategic to have more than one tracker on that to dissect all of the changes? And if so, what is the impetus to add more people in? I think some bills could have one person, but what is your thoughts on some of these bills having more than one tracker to understand what the heck they're trying to do? And also, an add-on question is, I know from previous sessions, like the rollback of Amendment 4, they waited till the last second to throw a whole bunch of nastiness in. And how do we account for that in this tracking system? Thank you.
Yeah. So yes, the legislature in Tallahassee is very sneaky, and they have a history of doing very, very bad stuff. So they could have like a couple of non-remarkable committee sessions, and then when they meet for the third one, which by the way, some of the bills, the ones that are not very big changes, tend to have just 2 sessions in subcommittees, and the ones that are more important or more controversial or have a budget related component to them, they tend to have 3. Okay, so there's this. But on the last session for the subcommittee in the past, they have done changes, just completely switch the content of the bill, and then it gets sent to the Senate, and it's like ambushing the people that were in those subcommittees. It removes the chances for anybody to stop anything. Not that we have any capacity, because we're a very small number in Tallahassee. And that's also why I think that this year is particularly bad, is that they recognize they just lost all of the power in DC, and they want to make sure that the states where they have these majorities, they want to do anything they want, so that they keep the control and help, providing for the very rich, because they really need it, right? So for example, over here on the bill, Chris, who was asking for the modifications?
That was me. And I'm just curious, like on HB1 that we know is going to be like a lot of heat, how many people would you recommend to be tracking that and dissecting it and paying attention to all that?
So I would say ideally you have 2 people in those big bills.
Okay.
For example, with that HB1, you want to be able to bounce ideas with somebody. There's a few other bills where I am not a lawyer, right? So you guys know. I was very shocked when I saw one bill, and I was like posting it on the Facebook channel, because for me, I was super shocked that the text of the bill said something like public defendants are only offered to people that are indigent. So I was, I'm obviously not very familiar with that, but apparently that is already the law. Like if you have anything, they can take it from you, or otherwise you're not going to be provided with a public defendant. And actually public defendants are also, based on that bill, they're going to have even more cuts. So you're not going to get a public defendant even if you're indigent in some cases. So they're adding the provisions for that. But I had no clue. I was completely shocked. But that's the usefulness of that group as well. So either having to, or being able to feel like, okay, let's discuss about this bill because I'm shocked at this. And then in that group, there's people like Alisa Henning, who's a lawyer, and she's very nice and very open to help. And so she would contact me and tell me, oh, that's already the law. I know it's awful. Okay, so then I feel bad, but I don't feel like it's something that I need to be making letters or activating people for us to act, right? So that's the advantage of the page, I think. So even if we don't have enough people to have 2 persons per big bill and doing the categories, then at least we have like a little community where we can talk and bounce these ideas. I think that is very useful. Yeah, I don't know if I answered all of the question. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. I got a better understanding. Thank you.
No problem. So like I said, by the end of the night, this is going to be finished. I'm going to be posting on the Facebook group the link to the Google Sheet. And I'm also going to be sending it directly to Hillary because I know that she updates the notes for the meeting so that you all have it. And that's basically it.
Great. Thank you, Carolina.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carolina.
You're
Very
welcome.
Good. Excellent. All right, I'm going to turn off the recording now. Yeah, just go to regular.